Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to dive into a heartfelt and emotional story. The journey of Diep, a man facing countless hardships as he travels home through storm and sorrow. And Huyen, the woman who waits faithfully, holding on to love and hope no matter how long it takes. Together, we'll explore their struggles, sacrifices, and the quiet strength that keeps them going despite all odds. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with touching, life-inspired moments. Under the gloomy early morning sky, my Jean Day walked along the dirt path by the river, his shoes heavy with mud. The sound of water lapping at the bank whispered old memories, days of loss when his motorbike, his most valuable possession, was stolen. He clutched the bag of documents tightly, his eyes glinting with fragile hope. The rugged mountain path and the cold, biting wind cut through his skin, but within Dee burned a fierce flame, a longing to return, to embrace his wife and child in the north after so long apart. Each step was a silent vow. If I can just get the bike back, I'll go home. The image of his young child waiting for him in their distant hometown flashed in his mind, piercing his heart. For 3 months, longing had surged like waves, eroding what little patience remained. He chose the path along the river, not only to shorten the distance, but also to avoid confronting his fear of failure. The fear that if the bike was gone, all his efforts would be for nothing. Above, dark clouds loomed, as if testing the resolve of this small man. But Dee pressed on, his hands clenched tightly, as if holding on to his last shred of hope. The river flowed quietly, reflecting the lonely silhouette of a father on a quest to reclaim what was lost. Then, amidst the gray expanse of sky and earth, a faint light appeared in the distance. The police station. That light was like a small flame warming his heart. Day gave a faint smile. "Today, I'll get my bike back," he whispered, and his steps grew lighter, faster, carrying both faith and the weight of a husband, longing to return to his familiar home. At the same time, in another place, Huyen was tending to the seedlings she had just bought from the market. In their small house, dim light filtered through the window, illuminating her hands as they gently cared for each leaf. The sound of roosters crowing and the breeze rustling through the areca trees mingled with her warm voice as she spoke to Bibi, the little dog always lingering nearby. "If we grow lots of vegetables, we'll have money for Tet, Bibi." But the smile on Huyen's lips faded quickly as she recalled the storm from the previous year. The storm that had swept away nearly all her hard work. The ground beneath her feet was still damp, the smell of mud stirring fears of the rainy days to come. She worried not only for this season's crop, but also for Maya, her daughter studying far from home. On the table, a small cake bought for Bibi gave off a sweet aroma, evoking memories of tough but love-filled years. Huyen brushed back her hair, sighing. She looked at the seedlings before her, 10 plants costing 5,000 zhong, more expensive than she'd expected. But then she smiled faintly, imagining lush green rows of vegetables rising, like her small hope for a stable future. Yet deep inside, a quiet fear lingered. If the rains came again, would everything vanish like before? Huyen wiped the sweat from her brow, stood up straight, and gazed toward the road leading to Maya's school. She told herself to be strong, not just for her daughter, but for herself. Bibi's long yawn sounded behind her, soft, but enough to make her smile faintly. In that moment, life, though simple, was full of meaning, as if each hose strike, each planted seed, was her way of fighting against adversity. Meanwhile, as the light from the police station grew clearer, Dee's heart pounded. The station's door opened, revealing a small, weathered building. He took a deep breath and stepped inside, his eyes scanning urgently before stopping abruptly. There stood his familiar green Suzuki, slightly dusty, but unmistakable. "That's my bike," he exclaimed, his voice trembling. Joy surged within him, but it was short-lived as he turned the key. No sound. The engine wouldn't start. The battery was dead. Day stood frozen. His hand gripped the key tightly, as if all his efforts had just been yanked back to the starting line. A police officer approached, his voice calm. "Do you have the papers?" Day quickly pulled out his ID and registration, his eyes still fixed on the Suzuki. "My Jin Day, right? Green Suzuki, plate 36K9-2100? The officer asked. Day nodded, a portion of his tension easing. The officer explained that they had just busted a bike theft ring, and Day's Suzuki was among the recovered items. But those words passed through Day like a breeze. All he wanted was to take his bike home. He signed the paperwork, his hand trembling slightly, as if signing a silent promise to his family. "I'll come back." Yet, as he held the key again, joy gave way to worry. The bike was broken, the battery dead. How could he travel hundreds of kilometers home? The officer pointed him to a nearby repair shop, his tone friendly but distant. Dee thanked him, then pushed the bike out of the station's gate. The sky remained gray, heavy like his mood. The joy of reunion suddenly felt fragile, tinged with vague unease. Under the overcast sky, Dee walked on, pushing the bike through muddy puddles. But this time, his steps were steadier. He had come too far to stop. No matter the challenges ahead, one thought burned in his mind. I have to get home. No matter what, I have to get home. Dee pushed the Suzuki out of the police station, each step heavy on the waterlogged road. The sky was a thick gray, as if swallowing all light. He glanced around. Low roofed houses, rain-soaked trees, and a small shop at the corner with a faded sign. Bike repair, battery charging, tire patching. He let out a soft sigh, guiding the bike toward it. The repairman was a gaunt old man with white hair and eyes clouded by age. He looked up at Day, giving a slight nod. "Old bike, huh, son?" Day managed a faint smile. "Yes, over 10 years old, sir." The old man bent down to check the battery, clicking his tongue. "Battery's shot. Needs a new one." The word new made Dee's heart sink. He knew replacing it meant a big expense, and his pocket held only a few 100,000 jong. He stared silently at the bike, the companion of years of work, hauling goods, taking his child to school, and driving his wife to the market. Each scratch on its body was a memory. Now, to bring it home, he faced a choice between money for the journey and money for repairs. The old man, seeing Dee's troubled look, spoke slowly. "All right, I'll swap in a used battery that still works for now. You're going far. Don't stop the engine on the way." Dee looked up, surprised. "You'll really help me, sir?" The old man smiled, his voice low and warm. "In life, everyone needs a hand sometime. I've been in your shoes." Those simple words caught in Dee's throat. He bowed his head in thanks. gratitude swelling like tears threatening to spill. When the bike roared to life, the engine's sound was like a heartbeat revived. Day rode off under the rain, leaving the town behind. The road to the north was still long, but as long as the bike moved, hope remained. He glanced at the gray sky, whispering, "Wait for me, Huyen." Maya. Back at home, Huyen sat on the porch, her calloused hands still caked with mud from planting. She gazed down the narrow path beyond the gate, where she waited daily for her husband's return. Bibi lay curled at her feet, occasionally looking up at her, as if sensing the longing in her heart. On the table, a small notebook was filled with scribbled expenses, crossed out and rewritten. She calculated every jong sent to Maya, her daughter living far away, balancing studies and part-time work. Each time Maya spoke of her meager meals, Huyen's heart ached. If Day comes back, things will be different, she told herself, as if the words could banish her worries. As evening fell, a cold breeze blew in from the river. Huyen lit the stove, cooking a small pot of porridge for Bibi, then sat quietly by the door. In the faint twilight, her shadow stretched across the ground. She gently wiped dust from an old, yellowed family photo. "I wonder where he is now," she whispered. Outside, a light rain began to fall, the bamboo slats on the porch trembling in the wind. Huyen huddled in an old sweater, but her heart stayed warm, thinking of Dee's return, of them tending fields and gardens together, preparing for the coming Tet. She didn't know that. At that moment, Dee was riding through the cold rain, his eyes red from the wind, hands gripping the handlebars, muttering, "Keep going. Almost home." Night fell quickly, the winding mountain road shrouded in fog. The Suzuki's headlight cast a faint beam through the mist. Dee stopped at a small roadside shop, ordering a cup of hot tea, his hands trembling as they warmed against the ceramic cup. The shopkeeper, curious, asked, "Where are you headed so late, son?" "Home, to Than Hoa," he replied, his voice hoarse from the cold. "That's far. It's dangerous at night. Rest here." Dee shook his head, a tired smile flickering. "Can't. My wife and child are waiting." The shopkeeper fell silent, then quietly placed a hot steam bun beside him. "Eat this. Warm your stomach. A gift for the long road." Dee looked up, surprised, his eyes misty. "Thank you, ma'am. I don't have enough money." "No matter. In life, everyone needs a bit of kindness sometimes." Her words left him silent for a long time. In the rainy night, the light from the shop glowed like a memory. He thought of Huyen, of the days she packed him rice with sesame salt for work, of the times they counted every saved jong together. "As long as we have each other, we can overcome anything," she had said. Now, on this lonely journey, he realized how precious those words were. Dawn approached. The rain had stopped, but the fog remained thick. Dee parked the bike by a bridge, gazing at the rushing water below. Huyen's face flashed in his mind. Gentle, enduring, always shining with faith. He wondered, was she waiting for him on the porch? Or had she fallen asleep to the sound of the rain? A cold breeze carried the scent of damp earth and misty smoke. Dee pulled his collar higher, started the engine. The bike shuddered, white smoke rising, then rolled slowly across the bridge. In the distance, the first light of dawn began to break. The sky shifted from gray to pale pink. The road ahead was still long, but to Dee, it was the road home, the road of hope, of faith, of the hands waiting for him at its end. At home, Huyen woke early. She opened the door, breathing in the cold morning air, and smiled faintly as the sky brightened. "He's probably almost here," she murmured, as if to dispel her loneliness. Bibi let out a short bark, as if in agreement. She brewed tea, pouring an extra cup for Dee's usual seat. The steam rose, mingling with the first rays of sunlight. In that moment, amidst life's struggles, Huyen still believed. Some people, no matter how far they go, will always find their way back. And Day, riding his old bike through the morning mist, smiled softly. He knew that ahead was home, where someone waited for him with all the love and faith that never faded. This story follows the difficult journey of Day, a man who has lost everything but remains determined to return home. Through the rain and cold, his only strength comes from love and faith. Back in their village, Huyen, his devoted wife, waits patiently, tending to their small home and holding on to the hope of reunion. Ordinary moments, like a pot of rice, a cup of tea, or the sound of night rain, become symbols of deep longing. Though separated by hundreds of miles, their hearts still beat for each other. This is not only the story of Dee's journey home, but also one of rediscovering faith, love, and the true meaning of family amid life's harsh challenges.